Archangel Michael says, take a breath as the veil thins and the room tilts toward tenderness. The clock in your chest beats like a lantern carried through mist, steady and sure. The voice you have missed for so long gathers at the edges of your name like dawn gathering at a window. A hush covers the ordinary noise of the world and arranges it into meaning. Your hands remember how to hold what cannot be held, and your eyes learn how to see with the heart. The air tastes like the first rain after summer heat, carrying a promise that refuses to loosen its grip. There is a chair beside you that knows the weight of their presence. There is a photograph that brightens when you look, as if light itself recognizes the bond. The room does not feel empty, because absence here is simply a doorway disguised as silence. You have tried to be brave in the kitchen where the mugs stack like small moons. You have tried to be brave in the hallway where a coat still carries their favorite scent. You have tried to be brave when the night hovers too close to the bed and asks for the story again. Tonight is not about bravery carved from stone and grit. Tonight is about softness that cannot be broken, and the gentleness that lifts the heavy part of your spirit. Tonight is about the letter written on your pulse by a hand you still know, delivered in time that bends like warm glass. The voice comes the way a shoreline appears while you are still far out at sea. It comes with the color of cinnamon tea and the hush of a winter afternoon. It comes with a tenderness that refuses to let fear define the room. Do not fear, the message says, although it needs no words to be true. Your breath answers like a small bird landing on a safe branch. Your shoulders, so used to holding weather, remember they were shaped for sunlight too. They have been close to you in the softness of morning and the edges of sleep. They have been close in the stray song that arrives at the exact moment you needed a hand. They have been close in the perfect timing of small rescues that seemed like luck but felt like love. The world calls these coincidences, but love is not a gambler. Love is a weaver and a careful gardener, and you have been the garden. Every unexpected bloom has been a signature, every gentle breeze has been a handwritten note. Archangel Michael says, grief is love that has nowhere obvious to go, so it builds a house. Your heart has been that house, sturdy and bright even on hard days. Tonight a new door opens in that house and leads you to a room with many windows. Look through the first window, the one overlooking the memory that always makes you smile. The sunlight there does not fade with the season, because it is not borrowed from the earth. The warmth is permanent because it is made from devotion and laughter and promises kept. Look through the second window, the one facing the day you thought would break you. The storm that lived there has now been named and released, like a wild horse returned to open fields. What remains is the ground under your feet, more steady than you imagined. Look through the third window, the one set into the future like a jewel. Your path walks toward it with new ease, because you are not walking alone. Even the shadows soften when the heart is escorted by love. There is a chair placed for you at a table set for two realms. The candle on it is lit in both worlds at once, and the flame understands how to speak in both directions. The wick does not get smaller because it draws from a source that does not run out. You remember the way their hands made simple things sacred, like stirring soup or tying a shoe. You remember how their laughter gave the walls a reason to stand. You remember the way their eyes refused to let any part of you feel unseen. The message arrives again, not as thunder but as quiet conviction. I never left you, it says, and your bones agree. I move through your days the way music moves through a room, it adds, and your breath lifts in recognition. In the cupboard of your heart there is a box you have not opened. Inside the box are the seasons you believed were stolen by sorrow. Tonight you realize they were not taken, they were simply waiting for a key made from courage and softness. Turn that key now, because you carry it. It looks like a willingness to feel without apology. It sounds like the whisper you are hearing now, gentle and unmistakable. They are proud of the way you keep going when the map looks smudged. They are proud of the way you speak kindly to yourself on the mornings that try to hide the sun. They are proud of the way you offer warmth to others, because warmth multiplied is warmth returned. You think of the projects left mid-sentence and the stories you wanted to tell. You think of the meals you meant to cook together and the places on the map with their names written in pencil. You think of the words you never said out loud and realize they heard them anyway. A certain song shows up at the grocery store when you need courage. A certain bird sits on the railing when you are thinking about quitting. A certain number appears like a breadcrumb on the days you feel small. You once believed these were tricks played by a hopeful mind. Tonight you understand they are the architecture of a promise that never learned how to expire. What you call signs are simply conversations that learn to speak in the language of your life. Archangel Michael says, write their name on a slip of paper with a pen that glides. Place the paper under your palm and notice how your pulse reaches for it like a friend. Speak one sentence of gratitude into the quiet, because gratitude is a bridge that does not collapse. Let your shoulders drop like anchors that have found a true harbor. Let your jaw loosen as if it has discovered a secret door to ease. Let your lungs fill to the corners as if every inhale were an embrace that made it home. They want you to know that forgiveness is not about forgetting. Forgiveness is about traveling light so the shared road continues without splinters. Forgiveness is a gift you place in your own pocket, and you are allowed to keep it. There were days you worried that smiling meant betrayal of the bond. There were nights you feared that sleep would wash their memory thin. There were hours that asked you to choose between healing and loyalty, and tonight you are told the choice was never real. Healing is loyalty expressed in motion. Healing is a bouquet carried forward so the fragrance reaches more rooms. Healing is the way love refuses to be trapped in the past when it is strong enough to build the future. They know about the small victory you did not announce. They know about the letter you wrote and never mailed, tucked into a drawer like a bird with folded wings. They know about the promise you keep every morning when you stand up, even when the light is slow. In your dreams, a path has appeared where no path used to be. It winds through the familiar places that no longer sting like they used to. It leads toward a horizon that glows with the color of safety. You do not have to run to catch it, because devotion never rushes you. You do not have to shout to be heard, because love is fluent in the quiet. You do not have to pretend to be strong, because you are already being carried. A cup of warm water on the table becomes a small ceremony. A folded blanket on the couch becomes a soft altar. A doorway you pass through each day becomes a threshold that remembers your name. They love the way you laugh with your whole face. They love the way you bent down to tie the child's shoe in the middle of a busy street. They love the way you always chose an extra napkin for the friend who would forget. The message brings a practical instruction that feels like sunlight entering a dim room. Put their favorite object where it can catch the morning light and let it be honored. Make a small act of kindness in their name and let it be seen by no one but your heart. When a cloud crosses the sky, do not call it a warning. Call it a page turning, because stories need shade to make the brightness mean anything. When a breeze moves the curtain, do not call it coincidence, call it hello. There is a difference between loneliness and aloneness, and you are learning it. Loneliness is a room that echoes, aloneness is a room that listens. Today the room listens as if the walls were ears shaped by mercy. They have watched you set the table for one and still cook for two. They have watched you leave space on the bench or the bed without thinking. They have watched you nod at the air sometimes and then pretend you did not. You can let go of pretending now because nothing about this is imaginary. The imaginary cannot pause a busy day with a memory that shows up at exactly the right second. The imaginary cannot place the right phrase on your tongue when comfort is needed most. Archangel Michael says, "Your courage is the currency that pays for the bridge between realms. You have spent it wisely and it has never run out. The bridge holds because you keep walking with a steady step. The path ahead invites you to plant something living in the soil of the present. A seed of routine that becomes a tree of peace. A small habit of care that becomes a field of trust. Each sunrise carries a little envelope addressed to you. Inside is an instruction so simple it feels like a secret. Drink enough water, rest when the body asks, move with a rhythm that respects your heart. Your loved one wants you to make a small celebration out of ordinary minutes. The first sip of tea becomes a banner raised quietly in a safe meadow. The closing of a book becomes a gentle ceremony of completion. They remember how you used to dismiss your own radiance. They remember how you would criticize the softest parts of yourself and call it honesty. They remember how you often gave the best of your patience to others and saved only the leftovers for your own heart. Today you are given permission printed on light and tied with a ribbon of calm. Permission to speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. Permission to belong in every room your feet enter. When you step outside, the sky greets you with a color made from assurance. The sound of distant traffic becomes a chorus singing that you made it to this moment. The stray cat on the wall glances at you as if noticing the halo that kindness leaves behind. The memory that used to sting now sweetens, because love has added more notes to the chord. The day that used to seem impossible now sits quietly beside you and holds your hand. The feeling that used to knock you down now bows with respect and lets you pass. You do not need a sign written across the sky to believe what you already know. You need only the way your chest loosens in the presence of truth. You need only the way your feet feel sure on a floor that is finally steady. They are not trapped in the last scene of their life. They are carried in the oldest song of the universe that refuses to end. They are not a photograph behind glass, they are the light that gives the photograph meaning. Gather your tokens of remembrance and give them new assignments. The sweater becomes a warmth you extend to yourself on cool mornings. The recipe card becomes a meal that feeds anyone who finds their way to your table. Speak their name with the softness of a blessing and not the sharpness of a wound. Let it travel through the air and find its way back to you, brighter than it left. Let it settle inside your chest like a key placed on the right hook by the door. The message folds itself like a letter prepared for your pocket. It will not fade when the day gets busy, because truth does not wear out. It will not shout when you forget, because love is patient like a lighthouse that never scolds the fog. Archangel Michael says, "Your life is a river and love is the current." The water bends around stones and keeps moving, because that is what rivers do. You do not stop the river to honor the stones, you let the river sing as it passes. There is a task only you can finish and it lives in your hands. It looks like a promise kept to yourself when the world is not watching. It feels like courage dressed as ordinary steps. When you rest tonight, allow the dream to arrive without a doorbell. If you wake with the sense of a hand on your shoulder, treat it as a hello delivered safely. If you open your eyes and feel peace before thought, accept it as a gift that needs no wrapping. You have not failed at love by surviving. You have not betrayed memory by learning to smile. You have not lost the connection simply because you cannot hold it with the old fingers. The connection has changed outfits and takes new routes, but it always arrives on time. It arrives in kitchen light and crosswalk mercy and elevator silence. It arrives in the split-second relief that appears before a single reason is found. Hold your head the way a tree holds its crown in the wind. Walk the hallway with the posture of someone escorted by tenderness. Enter each room as if carrying a lantern that learned your name from the beginning. They thank you for the songs you played even when your throat felt tight. They thank you for the candles you lit even when the room felt too large. They thank you for choosing to stay when leaving would have been a quieter ache. Tonight you are not asked to perform a miracle. You are asked to notice the one already happening in your breathing. You are asked to trust that love has finished the part that frightened you and opened the part that frees you. If tears come, let them polish the air and brighten the furniture. If laughter arrives, let it move through the house like a friend who knows where everything is kept. If stillness settles, let it be the soft animal sleeping at your feet until morning. Tomorrow you will wake with a sentence in your mouth that tastes like gentle news. It will say that nothing has been wasted and everything has been transformed. It will say that your heart has learned a new language and still remembers the old one. Your loved one leans close in the way only love understands. Their nearness is not heavy, it is the weight of a blanket that fits just right. Their goodbye is not a door closing, it is a porch light left on without an off switch. Take one step toward the life that continues because love demands continuation. Take one sip of water that reminds your body the world is kind. Take one deep breath that welcomes the message like a guest who belongs. The clock in your chest steadies and extends the room into a gentle forever. The message folds itself into your bones where it can do the quiet work. The night bows to your courage and the morning agrees to carry it forward. When you smile, consider it a ribbon tied to the branch of an old tree. When you rest, consider it a prayer without words that reaches exactly where it must. When you move, consider it a dance learned from someone who still teaches with light. Love has never left, it has only changed its doorway. Love has never dimmed, it has only learned new ways to shine in your eyes. Love has never fallen silent, it has only learned to speak in a voice the world cannot interrupt. Carry this page with you without a pocket, because it lives in your breath. Carry this promise with you without a bag, because it lives in your posture. Carry this closeness with you without a map, because it lives in your next kind act. You are accompanied. You are guided. You are held. And when the ordinary rush returns and tries to blur what you know, place your hand over your heart and remember the shape of this moment. Let the room remind you of its many windows and the bridge that never collapses. Let your name ring softly the way it does when love calls from a bright distance that feels like home. This is how the message stays even when the clock insists on moving. This is how the bond breathes without edges and refuses every ending. This is how you continue, because continuing is now another word for devotion. The candle burns low but does not falter. The path ahead listens for your step and answers with a welcome. The house of your heart opens its door and the light inside refuses to dim. Tonight, let the promise be your pillow and the steady be your blanket. Tonight, let the nearness be your compass and the ease be your map. Tonight, let the truth rest inside your chest and keep time like a faithful drum. When you wake, the world will be full of familiar tasks and new kindness. When you walk, you will leave footprints shaped like permission and patience. When you speak, your words will carry the melody of someone loved into the fabric of an ordinary day. The message does not end, because endings are for stories without breath. The message continues in your hands, in your pace, in your decision to open the day with softness. The message continues in the mercy you offer yourself with the same generosity you offered them. Archangel Michael says, keep this nearness where your keys would go and never misplace it. Let your shoulders remember the shape of comfort even when the news is loud. Let your heart keep the porch light on for every moment that needs a safe arrival. You are not late. You are right on time for the healing that unfolds without rush. You are right on time for the love that travels without distance. You are escorted by the one you miss, and your steps teach the floor a new kindness. You are accompanied by the messenger and your breath learns how to be a prayer without words. You are held by a promise that outlasts clocks and wears the color of forever. This page remains open to you whenever you need it, because love refuses to disappear. Your name stays luminous in the place where they stand, because devotion is a language that never forgets. Your life moves forward carrying a blessing that does not run out. Place your hand to your chest and feel the certainty tapping a gentle rhythm. Turn toward tomorrow with the ease of someone who knows they are guided. Walk with the grace of a lantern that finally understands why it glows. They are near. You are loved. The bridge holds. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, let the next part arrive like a tide that knows exactly where the shore lives. Your breath is the shoreline and your chest is the harbor that welcomes safe return. What continues now is the same river of comfort wearing a new shimmer. You move through the room and the floor answers like an old friend. A familiar shine gathers on the picture frame as if light remembered a promise. Your steps slow until stillness becomes a soft language you both understand. The presence that loves you does not crowd or press. It sits with you the way sunrise sits with a window, patient and warm. It lets your heartbeat choose the pace, and the pace is perfect. In the kitchen, a spoon becomes a wand for ordinary blessings. The kettle sighs and sounds like relief finding its way home. You lean on the counter and the counter leans back with simple loyalty. Their love threads itself through your routine without asking attention. It rests in the places your hands return to every day. It steadies every small task with a kindness that does not run out. There is a quiet vow being kept across the distance. It is older than the calendar and more precise than a clock. It belongs to both of you and it will not be broken. If a memory carries sharp edges, set it gently in warm light. The warmth will soften what hurts and reveal the hidden glow. The glow is proof that love transformed the moment and kept the meaning. You are not required to understand everything for this comfort to work. You are invited to receive it like rain that asks nothing of the roof. You are welcomed into ease as if ease were your first language. They see the way you help others when your own cup feels half. They notice the way you return to center after the world tilts. They honor the way you keep a place at the table for hope. Archangel Michael says, "You have become a lantern that learned patience." Your glow is steady because it is fed from a source that never tires. The way forward opens when you carry that glow without apology. Take a small walk and let the street greet you by name. Notice the way every familiar corner bows to your courage. Notice the way the sky stretches wider when the heart relaxes. The story you are living does not erase what came before. It lifts those chapters onto a shelf where gratitude can reach them. It keeps them within arm's length and out of harm's way. When you rest, breathe as if the pillow were a shoreline and you were a wave. When you rise, stand as if the floor were a friend and not a test. When you move, carry yourself like a promise that already kept itself. The loved one who calls you knows the strength hidden in your gentleness. They know the patience that carries you on hard mornings. They know the humor that returns when the day finally recognizes you. Let your hands learn a new ritual made from simplicity. Place your palm over your heart and name the feeling that arrives. Let the naming be kind and let it be enough. A door in your spirit has opened to a room with bright air. The room has space for grief and space for delight without conflict. The room keeps a chair for memory and a couch for possibility. You do not need to perform devotion for it to be real. You need only to notice the soft nudges that show up at the right time. You need only to accept that being held can be this quiet and this complete. Their laughter lives in the way you share food at unexpected moments. Their steadiness lives in the way you finish what kindness begins. Their tenderness lives in the way you soften your voice when someone is afraid. Sometimes the world will feel louder than your calm. Return to the breath that knows the path even in noise. Return to the sentence that whispers you are not alone. Plant a symbol of their love in your day and water it with attention. Let it be a flower on the sill or a melody you hum without ceremony. Let it be a habit that opens the door to tomorrow. You are building a new season with careful steps and open hands. The season respects your pace and rewards your honesty. The season shapes itself around your wholeness, never your fear. Archangel Michael says, carry this assurance the way a traveler carries a well-folded map. The road is friendly and the turns are marked by grace. The destination is peace walking beside you rather than ahead. Your loved one gathers the loose ends of your courage and ties them with light. The knot holds without strain and loosens without loss. The tie is flexible because love prefers freedom to grip. Let music visit and sit in the chair by the window. Let scent deliver a soft message when the air changes. Let color enter your day like a calm tide. There is a quiet invitation to write a single line each evening. Write what felt true and what felt kind. Place the page where dawn can read it and answer with gentleness. The path of healing circles back to beloved places. It returns to kitchens, porches, quiet streets after rain. It returns to your own face in the mirror with more patience than before. You are the keeper of a bridge that does not shake. You are the listener of a voice that does not fade. You are the witness of a presence that does not leave. If the afternoon grows heavy, place your hand on the table and breathe once for safety. Breathe once for strength that arrives without effort. Breathe once for love that exists without permission. They move through your day like a soft constellation. Each star is a moment of ease that appears at perfect times. Each pattern is a reassurance that guidance is never late. Allow yourself to celebrate small milestones with eager sincerity. Allow yourself to choose rest without bargaining. Allow yourself to be new and still be faithful to what you cherish. You are living proof that tenderness can be strong. You are living proof that remembrance can be bright. You are living proof that continuity can be gentle. The message lingers like a candle scent in a well-loved room. It makes its home in your gestures and your careful words. It finds expression in how you greet each dawn. When night closes, it closes softly. When morning opens, it opens with a quiet yes. When the day unfolds, it unfolds with a hand on your shoulder. Keep the porch light of your heart shining for every good return. Keep a chair ready for peace even on busy days. Keep a space clear on your calendar for joy to find you. There is nothing more to prove to love that already knows you. There is only the practice of receiving what is yours. There is only the habit of offering what overflows. The voice from heaven does not rush your steps. It matches your pace and mirrors your breath. It meets you exactly where you are and walks along. You carry the signature of that presence in your ease. You carry it in the way your eyes soften at kindness. You carry it in the way you forgive your own stumbles and keep going. Let the evening draw the curtains without fear. Let the stars hum their old melody while you relax. Let sleep arrive like a gentle friend who knows where comfort resides. When you wake, greet your reflection as if greeting someone precious. Affirm the truth that steadiness lives in your bones. Welcome the day as if it were an old ally returning with new gifts. You are the only one who can live your tenderness this way. You are the only one who can translate their love into today's actions. You are the only one who can keep this bridge bright with your care. Every kindness you extend becomes a letter delivered across the veil. Every patient breath becomes a lantern hung on the path. Every gentle choice becomes a ceremony of remembrance. The world will notice the quiet shift in your presence. It will notice the gravity of your calm and the lift of your compassion. It will notice the way you hold space for others, the way love holds space for you. This continuation is a warm shawl placed over your shoulders. It fits because it was woven from what you already carry. It comforts because it speaks the language of your heart. You may pause here and feel the closeness again. You may carry this forward into the simplest hour. You may return whenever you wish, because love never withdraws its welcome. What remains is steady, luminous, and yours. What continues is peaceful, loyal, and clear. What guides you is ancient, present, and bright. You are accompanied. You are guided. You are held. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, lean into the nearness as if the room itself were a cradle built from calm. The air holds your name the way a shoreline holds a gentle tide. The nearness answers every quiet ache with a steadiness that feels like home. Morning opens and the curtains breathe like a living page. You stand in that soft light and let it write a sentence across your shoulders. The sentence spells comfort in a language your bones already know. A kettle murmurs and becomes a messenger without ceremony. Steam rises and etches small blessings into the glass. Your hands wrap the cup and learn the shape of safety again. They walk with you to the doorway you cross every day. They thread their presence through the weave of your routines. They turn ordinary minutes into a friendly field that welcomes your step. You place a small token on the windowsill and let it catch the sun. The token becomes a lighthouse for your returning strength. The sun answers with a brightness that never wastes your courage. In the market, colors gather like kind voices. You choose what nourishes and feel a quiet hand guiding your patience. You carry your bag like a vessel of gentle victories. Rain arrives and the street turns into a ribbon of silver. Each drop taps a secret rhythm that steadies your breath. The sky lowers its voice and becomes a shelter instead of a weight. A memory lifts and lands without sharp edges. It sits beside you the way a friend rests on a familiar bench. It lets you look without bracing, and the looking becomes a blessing. You prepare a meal that remembers a favorite taste. The recipe has learned how to be both sweetness and solace. The kitchen agrees to be a chapel made of warm air and clinking spoons. They are proud of the way you share what you make. They are proud of the way you give softness without asking permission. They are proud of the way you keep faith with every careful act. Evening folds the city into gentle angles. Lamps bloom one by one like patient stars. Your window reflects a person carried by love and steady as a lantern. Archangel Michael says, let your voice wear kindness the way trees wear shade. Let your eyes hold welcome the way harbors hold boats. Let your steps teach the floor that peace has a sound. You keep a notebook where truth can land safely. One line each night turns into a bridge of days. The bridge does not wobble because honesty is a firm plank. On some afternoons a sigh arrives with no story attached. It clears a path so quiet can walk further in. The quiet brings a chair and invites you to sit where ease waits. You light a candle with the sure hand of remembrance. The flame stands tall without trembling. Its glow gathers yesterday and tomorrow into the same soft room. The number that follows you appears on a bill or a screen. It taps your shoulder like a gentle companion. It says continue because the road is lined with mercy. A small breeze lifts the curtain at the exact right moment. It carries a hint of a favorite scent that refuses to vanish. The room learns how to say hello without a sound. You keep photos where your eyes can rest without being startled. The faces grow brighter when attention is kind. The past cooperates with the present and the future nods its approval. They like the way you sit with people who are hurting. They like the way you leave space for their stories to breathe. They like the way your silence becomes a pillow rather than a wall. Your sleep learns a new texture shaped by trust. Dreams stop tugging at old seams and begin to stitch new patterns. You wake with a softness that moves through your day like sunlight. Archangel Michael says, your patience has become a sacred tool. It opens difficult doors without force. It carries heavy moments across the threshold without scraping the floor. You visit a quiet place where trees write the air with green. Your steps match the pulse beneath the soil. The path remembers you and lays itself out with grace. A small bird perches near your shoulder as if sent by a familiar hand. Its stillness is not fragile but assured. It glances your way and the world feels perfectly timed. You decide to frame a note with a single line of gratitude. The frame steadies the day the way shores steady water. Gratitude speaks in low tones and the heart hears every word. Someone offers help and you say yes with dignity. Saying yes becomes a lesson in belonging. Belonging becomes the tone of your laughter. Afternoons once crowded with ache now welcome useful quiet. The quiet is not an empty room but a carefully arranged sanctuary. Sanctuary grows each time you choose gentleness without apology. You forgive yourself for old misunderstandings. Forgiveness loosens knots you forgot you were carrying. The loosened cord becomes a ribbon tied to a gate that opens easily. Archangel Michael says, take 3 full breaths as you step into new moments. Let the first breath greet your body with permission. Let the second honor your memory with tenderness, and let the third make room for tomorrow. Your calendar leaves a square unpainted so wonder can arrive. Wonder accepts the invitation and walks in barefoot. The hour becomes a meadow where time grazes without hurry. You return to familiar songs that sparkle with new meaning. A single line sits down in your chest and refuses to leave. The melody behaves like a safe bridge between 2 strong shores. There are photographs you keep in a drawer for rainy days. You open the drawer and find them lighter than before. The edges no longer scratch because love sanded them smooth. You speak their name in a tone that blesses the air. The room brightens the way lamps brighten patient corners. The name returns to you polished by memory and carrying comfort. Your hands arrange fresh flowers with a slow intention. Petals turn like small suns whom the day trusts. The vase stands like a lighthouse on the kitchen table. You choose clothes that feel like permission instead of armor. Fabric learns the shape of ease against your skin. Your reflection nods as if an old friend came home. Even when news arrives with a sharp headline, your center holds. Calm moves to the front and makes space for wise steps. The moment respects your steadiness and softens its edges. Archangel Michael says, the bridge between you and your loved one is not made of effort. It is woven from devotion, rest, and simple presence. It needs only your willingness to stand upon it. Sunset paints the sky with patient strokes. The horizon keeps its promises with gentle ceremony. The night steps forward like a friend carrying warm tea. You write one more line in your notebook before sleep. It says that you are living the proof that love survives distance. It says that the world keeps revealing new rooms inside the same home. Another day begins and the doorway recognizes your stride. Every handle you touch learns the shape of compassion. Every task you complete becomes a small anthem of continuity. You have become a keeper of soft victories. You stack them like folded linens on a reliable shelf. The stack grows and the room smells like care. They walk beside you through corridors of ordinary joy. They match your pace and never rush your breath. They nod when you pause and smile when you continue. Archangel Michael says, the way you carry this love is a gift to the world. It teaches others how to be brave without hardening. It shows that tenderness can be the strongest material. Your home sounds different now, like a heart that understands rhythm. Clocks keep faithful time without scolding. Floors hold you with a loyalty that calms the weather inside. The city moves around you and respects your quiet gravity. You become the eye of your own stormless sky. People feel safer after standing near your peace. You enter sleep as if entering a sanctuary with the door open. The sanctuary never closes because trust does not need locks. The night keeps watch and the morning relieves it with gratitude. The story of your bond refuses every ending. It opens new chapters with gentle certainty. It travels with you, luminous and warm, into all the rooms still waiting. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, let this next wave of comfort arrive with the certainty of. You start the morning with a deliberate slowness that feels like wisdom. The spoon clinks the cup and becomes a bell for steady beginnings. Light moves across the table like a blessing that knows your schedule. You step outside and the day greets you with an easy nod. The air carries a hint of their old laughter the way cotton holds warmth. Your breathing finds a pace that protects your peace. A neighbor smiles and you notice how your response carries calm. The calm travels further than your voice and rearranges the moment. The world becomes friendlier by a small, measurable degree. Archangel Michael says, mastery is the practice of gentleness repeated until it becomes nature. You are practicing well and the results are visible. The path ahead keeps clearing because you keep choosing softness over strain. You visit a familiar park and feel the ground respond to your step. Trees write slow green sentences that your nerves understand. A bench invites you to pause and the pause turns into strength. You take out a small notebook and let one true line arrive. The line is simple and exact like clean water poured into a glass. Your hand steadies because honesty always stabilizes the wrist. A breeze lifts your hair and delivers a memory without sting. It places the memory on your lap the way a friend places a folded blanket. You accept it and the acceptance feels like skill. The sky begins its quiet rehearsal for evening. Colors lean into each other without collision and teach you how transitions can be kind. You make a note to move through your own changes with the same grace. Archangel Michael says, do 3 ordinary good things and let them stand like stones in a garden path. Send a kind message, drink more water, and tidy a corner that carries old weight. The path feels more trustworthy with each small stone placed. Back home, you arrange a corner that will hold your quiet work. A chair, a light, a plant, and the promise to return each day. The corner becomes a sanctuary because you keep your word to yourself. You cook a meal that remembers their favorite detail. The seasoning lands with that exact familiar warmth that lives in your hands. The first bite confirms that love can be measured in careful attention. You place a plate aside and smile at the ritual that no longer hurts. It now feels like inclusion rather than absence. The room glows with the dignity of continuity. Archangel Michael says, grief has turned from storm into climate, gentle and sustaining. The weather inside you now supports life rather than testing it. You are growing things again and they are thriving. You choose clothes that match the softness of your day. Fabric follows your breathing and refuses to fight your movement. Your reflection agrees that comfort is a form of truth. The doorbell rings and brings an errand shaped like connection. You listen more than you speak and the room leans toward you. The moment leaves both hearts less burdened. You sit with your ledger of small victories. A page fills with simple lines that carry real weight. The book closes with a satisfying confidence that tomorrow will add more. Archangel Michael says, rest is part of the vow you made to live well. Close your eyes for 10 minutes and let quiet repair the seams. You wake with edges softened and courage refilled. Evening arrives with the patience of a lifelong friend. Lamps find their places and make a neighborhood of light. Your home sounds like assurance spoken in low tones. You take a walk through your memories with new rules. Only moments that add strength are allowed to speak. Every other moment is thanked and asked to sit quietly in the balcony. You frame a photograph not as an anchor but as a sail. It no longer holds you still but helps you move cleanly. Wind catches the canvas and names the direction piece. Archangel Michael says, the bridge remains open and needs no guard. Step upon it whenever you choose and it will carry you. Return when you wish and it will still be there. You write a small letter addressed to the day you have not met yet. The letter carries 3 sentences about courage, ease, and kindness. You place it under your pillow to let sleep deliver it. Dreams visit like guests who know your house rules. They do not slam doors or drag old furniture across the floor. They tidy the kitchen of your mind and leave a note of thanks. You wake with a sentence that fits your mouth perfectly. It says you are safe to continue and accurate in your tenderness. It says love is here and distance has lost its authority. Archangel Michael says, humility and radiance can live in the same room. Your presence proves it each time you enter with quiet confidence. The room becomes more honest because you refuse to counterfeit your peace. You schedule a small kindness for yourself at midday. It is not a reward but a requirement, like sunlight for a plant. The satisfaction is uncomplicated and that is part of its power. You notice you have begun to hum again while folding laundry. The tune is not planned, it simply trusts the air. The basket fills with completed tasks and the house nods. A letter arrives that once would have rattled your calm. Today it becomes only a detail in a day already anchored. You respond with clarity and the matter settles without drama. Archangel Michael says, keep one promise to your body each morning. Stretch, drink, or walk, but do it like a vow. The body will repay you with a steadier instrument for joy. You call a friend and speak from a chair built from truth. Your voice is unhurried and honest without sharp edges. The conversation ends lighter than it began for both of you. A stranger holds a door and you meet kindness with fully open eyes. The small exchange lasts seconds and alters the tone of an hour. This is how a day is braided with grace. You return to your corner of quiet work. Pages grow, stitches accumulate, steps add up. The project becomes a portrait of patience that looks like you. Archangel Michael says, your life is now calibrated to a trustworthy rhythm. Slow where slowness is wise and swift where swiftness is mercy. The metronome of your heart sets a humane tempo. A thundercloud gathers and then moves on without incident. You watch it travel like an old story that no longer needs a stage. The window frames a sky that keeps its balance. You make a list of unhurried joys. Clean sheets, warm mugs, kind texts, and evening walks. The list is short and sufficient because sufficiency is a skill. Night leans in and you answer with readiness rather than resistance. The house exhales when you dim the lights. The pillow receives your head like a trusted harbor. Archangel Michael says, end the day with a line of gratitude that includes your own name. You belong to your life today and that belonging mattered. Sleep now with the confidence of someone escorted by love. The presence close to you rests a gentle hand on the hour. The touch is light and certain and it travels with you through sleep. Morning waits with an open door that you will walk through with ease. What continues has found its permanent address inside you. What guides you is steady and insists on tenderness. What loves you has never left and never will. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20.